Honest to the and apostles of good wisdom, all praises to Yahweh, Hashem, 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 Kakadash, Shalom to the one, dot Hebrew Israelite, Zechariah, dot in it, which I so called Nikos Latinus, and of Americans with his bloodline, was the repressed together according to the book of Jeremiah 50:33, but to whom Soleil belonged the adoption, the glory, the covenants, the giving of the law, the service of God, and the promises according to the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 4, Ecclesiastes 10 and 7, I have seen servants upon horses and princes working as servants upon the earth. KJV 16:11. Khan called this lesson Bible verses about honesty, which honesty can be good, but which don't confuse honesty with being too nice. Okay, being too nice, which means being over righteous, is not honesty at the same time. Okay, honesty is just honesty, just like lies are just lies, and just like you see. Okay, let's say you have sex with a woman. She doesn't tell you that she has a man. You ask her and she says she doesn't have, but really she does. Is that now honesty? Yes. Is that now adultery? I mean, is it honesty from you? Yes. Is it adultery also? I would say no, because you can't know. You don't know. Okay, you don't have proof. Okay, you can only rely on what she says to you. You can't rely on what you hear or what you think it is. That's why you ask her in the first place. That's what you call honesty, right? So let's go first in the definition of honesty. The quality, it's of course also a quality. Okay, so let's go on the etymology. Honesty is the quality of being truthful, sincere, and upright, involving a refusal to what? Lie, cheat, or steal. Originating in the 4th century from Old French honesty and Latin honestes, meaning honor, reputation, or respectively. The term originally referred to honorable character and propriety of behavior rather than just truth-telling. Trustworthy, okay, truthful, okay. Integrity, okay. These are traits of honesty, right? So we can't just go in the Bible now and think that's the completely different matter. No. The definition what we was reading has somewhat to do with the Bible, because the Bible is also just of course it's God's word, but it's also translated from people, from the Hebrew, from ancient Hebrew into the modern Hebrew, so you can understand it. Because we would not have the King James Version if we would not have people translating it from the modern Hebrew into the English. But for the modern Hebrew, you need to translate it from the ancient Hebrew into the modern Hebrew. I hope you can understand that. If not, okay, then please tell me, give me sources, give me proof, okay, how the King James Version was written another way. It can just be written by people translating it from the old Hebrew into the new, from not the new, but the 1948 Hebrew, and then to the English Hebrew. There is no other way. Okay, you hypocrites out there. Okay. Yahweh Hashem Mashai doesn't you know, he's not having his angels coming down daily, okay, with a loud voice telling people the verses from the Bible. No, okay, it's not the world, the reality we live in right now. Okay, bastards out there, man. Proverbs 12:22. Lying lips are abomination to the Lord, but they that deal truly are his delight. Yeah, really, we don't know, or we can't know what Yahweh Hashem really favors, what his delight really is, but by the word of the God, by the word that he gave us. Okay. Of course, being over righteous is not good, but being overly wicked is also not good. Okay. So if you just lie all the time, or you just lie because you think it's a light lie, okay, do that one time, okay, maybe, maybe, of course it will come out, or it will install problems in your mind later, but do that 2 or 3 times and you will have a big lie in your way coming for you, so you have to repent about that. Okay, you have a big bill to pay. Okay. Just like there's sin to death and there's sin not to death, right? John 8:32, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Yeah, the integrity of the upright, Proverbs 11:3, right? So let's go into Proverbs 11:3. The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. Proverbs 16:13, righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him that speaketh right. Luke 6:31, and as ye would that man should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. Yeah, for example, if you are a king and you have an advisor, right? The advisor is only nice to you. Sometimes he manipulates the words that he says to you, so you don't know the full truth. When you hired him to be an advisor, that he gives you the full truth, right? So if ancient kings and today's kings really would go by that, then an advisor, as long as it doesn't threaten you, okay, or being aggressive, or tries to hit you in the face or whatever, then sometimes, of course, he might be a little bit more fierce in his arguments, a little bit more, how can I say, a little bit more tempting in what he actually says. Okay. And guess what? Those were and those are still the best advisors that you can have, because according to that verse, if I myself would have an advisor today, okay, and he helps me instead of being a fool, okay. For example, of course, I can do what I want, right? I'm a king, I can do what I want. Just an example, right? I don't know if you heard it, I watch Game of Thrones, for example, at the moment, right? Which I'm almost finished. So let's say, yeah, I have an advisor, right? And he is telling me, yeah, the last strategy you played out, you know, like the last strategy you played out, losing actually the war, and that attack on that uh, land, country, city, whatever. Okay, it was a really good strategy. You should try it again. Then you are really a foolish advisor, right? What you say, you give advice on how to prevent those things from happening. Okay, that happened in the loss. Guess what? You don't come around saying yeah, you're a fool. Uh, this is really a this is the reason is this why you lost, and this, and that's why you're a fool, and uh, why am I even advise you, and uh, no, okay, like a civilized, uh, honest person, okay, godly and honorable person, okay, doesn't come in because doesn't come to you that way, okay. First, he argues simple and clever, not even full full mode. Okay, first figuring out why you did something, then then of course, if that's not really um, if that's not really a way to figure out your whole intention, okay, then the advisor goes that way, argumenting a little bit more harsh, so we can really understand, okay, um, how to how to make your next choice better, make your next choice better, because the last word, the advisor doesn't have the last word. He knows the king has the last word, or the queen, or whatever, right? So what he does is he figures out why you was doing something, what you was thinking, and then he gives you, he uses those things, okay, clever to cleverly, um, that's not the right word, to to on a smart way, okay, to install his arguments accordingly. But also, if even that doesn't help, he installs it so perfectly that in the end you will know and understand, okay, so that's the right way. That's the right way how to deal with the next, for example, the next army, the next attack, okay, the next country. Maybe it is a complete different country, but he made sure to give you right, the right recommendation when it comes to how to solve the main problem, right? The main problem, the main, there's always a main uh, difficulty, basically, if you understand, right? Right? It was not the country, maybe it was just how you attacked it, right? Because there's always an alternative. Okay, the alternative would be not to attack. It's that simple, right? Right. So the alternative is basically uh, to not attack. If you're not able to, then don't do it, right? Yeah, it's just my take on it. Um, because as an advisor, for example, you also need to be careful how you you know how you speak. So the smallest thing would be smallest thing, of course, would be, okay, to use the information you received to come back with a better information to what? to be an honorable person, to help somebody, okay, not to bring them in further, you know, to make them, uh, to make the next thing they do more foolish than yeah, basically to make them more fool, make a fool out of them, okay, even the more, okay. That's not what you call honesty. That's what you call making things worse than they actually are. Okay, adding to it. Okay, that's what you call adding to it. Matthew 5:37. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. So this is also a smart way as an advisor, for example. You know, I don't know, watch Game of Thrones. It's when it comes to things that I saw from series and TV shows and whatever, and this is maybe the most when it comes to tactical strategies and evil being rolled out on a full scale, then this is maybe the most interesting TV show, man, for what I saw. Okay, 8 seasons full of treasury, full of different connections, family treasury, different houses fighting each other, general war happening. Then you have a dead of the army of the dead, and you know, you have even mythology in it. And that's not, of course, reality. Okay, but let's just use the alternate for it. Okay, the alternate for that mythology would be the Amalekites 9048ers. Okay, putting your nonsense out there, man. Calling it normal. Okay, nice. But you know, it's also it's always an alternative reality, if you will, right, so to speak. Okay, I don't have proof that this reality is not the reality. So guess what? It is reality, right? So that's what, if you're in the TV show, then guess what? Dragons would be the reality because you're in the TV show, right? So it's not a mythology anymore if you if that TV series would be real, right? So we have to leave things where they are, right? So let's say if I would be an advisor in that series, in that TV show, right? Then I would then first I would ask questions to the king or the queen, okay? So I would make sure okay, that I receive what? A yay, nay, nay. Okay, a no or a yes. You have things like so-called closed questions, and you have things so-called open questions. If you don't know what it is, then I tell you, an open question, something where you can answer with a sentence or more sentences, something where you left with where it is even required to maybe ask with a little bit more than just one word, a yes or no, right? And a closed question, if you don't know the question with just yes or no, everything else makes you look foolish, right? So as a good advisor, you know how to use open questions and to use closed questions. So if nothing helps, you just leave it there with open and closed questions, and then you give advice if he asks you the next time, but not trying to arguing with him. So it's simple, okay? It's not like you have to play a civilized person. Either you are an honest civilized person or not. It's that simple. Shalom.